Dear seeker, have you ever paused in the quiet of night and wondered, what if this life you hold so tightly is itself only a dream? Just as you wake each morning from the fragile images of sleep, what if there comes a greater awakening, where this entire world, its joys, sorrows, triumphs, and defeats, melts away like mist before the rising sun? Babaji has often reminded his disciples that what we call reality is not as solid as it appears. It is woven of Maya, the divine illusion, shimmering like a mirage upon the desert sands of eternity. Think of your dreams at night. In them you laugh, you weep, you fear, you rejoice, and in those moments, they feel utterly real. Yet, when you awaken, all that intensity vanishes, leaving only the faint memory of shadows. Could it be, dear seeker, that this waking life is no different? That what feels permanent is but a play of shifting images upon the screen of cosmic consciousness? Babaji teaches that the soul journeys through these dreamscapes not by accident, but with deep purpose. The dream is a school, and each experience is a lesson whispered by the divine. The relationships you hold, the struggles you face, even the fleeting pleasures, all are symbols in a vast script written to stir the soul toward remembrance. So, as you listen today, let your heart remain open. For this question, is life only a dream, is not a riddle meant for the mind alone. It is a call to awakening, an invitation to pierce the veil of appearances and discover that beyond all dreams, beyond all illusions, there is an eternal truth. Babaji assures us, you are not the dream. You are the immortal witness of it. Dear seeker, Babaji once revealed to his disciples a truth that dissolves the weight of worldly illusions. This world is a projection of the mind, and the mind itself is but a ripple upon the infinite spirit. Pause and reflect on this. When you dream at night, you enter into an entire world created instantly. Mountains rise, rivers flow, people appear, dramas unfold. In the dream, you run, you feel, you struggle, and every moment feels undeniably real. Yet when you awaken, you realize it was nothing more than a subtle play of your own consciousness. So too is this waking life. What you call reality, your body, possessions, relationships, and even your sense of time, are all woven of the same mysterious fabric, Maya, the divine dream of God. Just as the dream at night dissolves at dawn, this greater dream of life too will dissolve when the soul awakens to its eternal nature. Babaji teaches that the world is not false, it is real in the same way a dream is real while it lasts. But it is not ultimate. It is fleeting, impermanent, fragile as the reflection of the moon trembling upon the surface of a lake. To cling to it as absolute reality is to suffer. To see it as a passing vision of spirit is to be free. Dear seeker, the great mistake of humankind is to forget the dreamer and become lost in the dream. We chase shadows, cling to moments, and grieve when they vanish. Yet Babaji gently reminds, awaken, beloved one. Know that you are not the shifting forms. You are the light behind them. Dear seeker, a natural question arises in the heart. If life is a dream, why has the infinite woven it at all? Why should the eternal spirit, boundless and ever blissful, paint upon the canvas of time and space this passing vision of joy and sorrow? Babaji lovingly explains to his disciples that the dream is not without meaning. It is the play of divine love, a cosmic stage where the soul comes to remember its forgotten truth. Just as a teacher writes lessons on a blackboard not for the board itself, but for the student's awakening, so too does the divine sketch this universe, not for its permanence, but for your growth. Within this dream, every experience becomes a sacred teaching. When you taste happiness, you learn gratitude. When you face loss, you learn detachment. When you love, you glimpse the nature of God. And when you suffer, you are reminded to seek the eternal refuge beyond all passing shadows. Babaji often says, the purpose of the dream is awakening. Without it, the soul would remain asleep in eternal forgetfulness. Just as fire awakens the fragrance hidden in sandalwood, life awakens the hidden strength and wisdom of the spirit. The dream exists so that you may discover who you truly are. It is not punishment, nor accident, but divine Leela, a play, a story told by the infinite to itself, through you. And in this sacred play, the roles change, rich and poor, strong and weak, victor and defeated, but the soul, the witness, remains untouched, eternal. Dear seeker, do not fear this dream. Walk through it as a student walks through a school, learning, growing, and preparing to graduate into the freedom of infinite truth. Dear seeker, in every dream, there is not only a story unfolding but also a dreamer who sustains it. You may forget this truth while asleep, but upon awakening you realize that the dream arose from your own consciousness. Babaji reminds us in the same way, you are not the fleeting dream of life, you are the dreamer, eternal and untouched. This is the essence of the path, to shift from identifying with the passing images to remembering the one who beholds them. When you think, I am the body, you become entangled in its frailty, bound by its hunger, pain, and inevitable decline. When you think, I am the mind, you are tossed like a boat upon restless waves of thought and emotion. But when you awaken to your deeper nature, the silent witness behind body and mind, you realize you are the dreamer, not the dream. Babaji teaches that this realization brings freedom. Just as the actor does not lose himself in the role he plays, you too must not lose yourself in the shifting identities of this life. Father, mother, seeker, teacher, friend, these are roles of the dream, not the truth of who you are. Dear one, reflect deeply. The dream cannot exist without the dreamer. The world arises because of your consciousness, and when consciousness withdraws, the world dissolves. This is why Babaji whispers, remember the one who watches. Be the seer, not the seen. When you rest in this awareness, life's drama continues, but you no longer drown in it. You walk through the dream with lightness, compassion, and clarity, knowing always, I am the immortal dreamer, and all this is but passing imagery upon the screen of spirit. Dear seeker, you may ask with a heavy heart, if life is only a dream, why does suffering feel so painfully real? Why do loss, illness, betrayal, and death cut so deeply into the soul, leaving scars that seem unending? Babaji explains with infinite compassion that suffering is not cruelty, nor is it meaningless. It is the gentle alarm clock of the divine, shaking the soul from its deep slumber in the dream. Just as a mother awakens her child from sleep so that he may not miss the morning lessons, so too does spirit awaken the soul through the pangs of sorrow and the fire of trials. In the dream of life, joy often makes us forgetful. When we are comfortable, we cling to the dream as though it will last forever. But pain tears the veil, reminding us that nothing here is permanent. Babaji says, do not despise suffering. See it as the call of the beloved, drawing you back to your true home. Consider, dear seeker, how the oyster suffers when sand enters its shell. Yet from that irritation, a pearl is formed. In the same way, suffering refines the soul, shaping it into something radiant, pure, and enduring. It humbles pride, deepens compassion, and awakens the longing for the infinite. Yes, suffering feels real, because while the dream lasts, the emotions are vivid. But their very sharpness serves a divine purpose, to remind you not to cling to shadows but to seek the eternal light. When embraced with awareness, pain ceases to be an enemy. It becomes a teacher, guiding the soul gently toward awakening. Babaji assures us, behind every tear lies the whisper of freedom. Behind every sorrow, the promise of awakening. Dear seeker, if life is a dream, then the most sacred question is this: how do we awaken? How do we step out of the fleeting shadows and return to the brilliance of eternal truth? Babaji, with infinite patience, has always guided his disciples to the path of inner stillness. He teaches that awakening is not found in chasing more dreams but in learning to rest beyond them. When the mind grows quiet, when desires loosen their grip, when the heart turns inward, then the veil of Maya begins to thin, and the soul glimpses its own radiant nature. Meditation is the key Babaji offers. In the silence of meditation, thought dissolves like clouds scattering before the sun, and the clear sky of consciousness shines forth. In that sacred stillness, you realize, you are not the shifting dream, you are the witness, vast, eternal, untouched. Babaji reminds us, dive deep into the stillness, and you will awaken in the ocean of spirit, where all dreams vanish into bliss. But meditation alone is not enough. Awakening also comes through selfless love and service. When you give without expectation, when you see the divine in every face, the walls of separation crumble. The dream loosens its grip, and the soul tastes the unity that lies beyond appearances. Dear one, awakening is not an escape from the dream but a transformation within it. You still walk, speak, and live, but with a lightness, as if moving through a play whose secret you now know. Life becomes sacred, not because it is permanent, but because it reflects the eternal. Babaji assures, awaken, beloved, and you will discover that beyond all dreams lies Satchitananda, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new joy. Dear seeker, until the final awakening fully dawns, Babaji teaches that we must learn to live wisely within the dream. For though life is fleeting, it carries meaning as long as it guides us toward the eternal. To live wisely is to walk with awareness, never forgetting that all forms are passing shadows. When wealth comes, use it with generosity, knowing it will not stay. When sorrow visits, bear it with courage, knowing it too will pass. When joy fills your heart, savor it, but hold it lightly, for it is but a glimpse of the true bliss that lies beyond. Babaji often reminds his disciples, play your role with sincerity, but do not mistake the role for the self. Whether life casts you as a parent, a seeker, a friend, or a teacher, perform each part with love, but remember you are not bound by it. The actor does not become the role, he only plays it for a time. So too, you are the soul, eternal and unchanging, moving through temporary roles in the dream of existence. To live wisely is also to practice compassion. For just as you are a dreamer moving through this vision, so is every being you meet. The beggar, the stranger, the enemy, the beloved, all are sparks of the same divine, wearing different masks. When you serve them with kindness, you serve the infinite hidden within them. Babaji assures us, treat the dream as sacred, and it will lead you to the dreamer. Walk lightly, love deeply, meditate daily, and let your every action become a step toward awakening. In this way, dear seeker, you transform the dream of life into a path of liberation. Dear seeker, as we come to the end of this reflection, let us return to the heart of Babaji's teaching. Life is but a passing dream. You are not the dream, you are the immortal witness, untouched, eternal, free. Just as the night's dream dissolves at dawn, so too will this great dream of life dissolve when the soul awakens to its true nature. Babaji assures us, do not fear the dream. Walk through it with awareness, for every scene is a step leading you back to the infinite. So tonight, when you close your eyes and drift into sleep, pause for a moment. Reflect, who is the one who watches both the dream of night and the dream of day? In that silent witness, you will glimpse your true self. Dear one, carry this wisdom with tenderness. Live with love, serve with compassion, and meditate deeply. Let every joy remind you of the eternal bliss within, and let every sorrow guide you gently back to the divine source. For beyond all illusions, beyond all fleeting shadows, you are spirit itself, radiant, unchanging, ever free. If these words touched your heart, I invite you to share your reflection in the comments below. What does the dream of life mean to you? Have you ever felt, even for a moment, that reality is not as solid as it appears? Your sharing may inspire another seeker along their path. Thank you for walking this sacred journey today. May Babaji's blessings protect and guide you, awakening the light of truth in your heart. Until we meet again, dear seeker, remain in peace, remain in love. Jai Gurudev.